Welcome back to FM Story. We've kind of recovered from the disaster that was Season 5 so far in Season 6. We're currently at the beginning of December and we're sat second in the league table. Obviously, we don't have the distraction of European football to worry about this season, so let's see if we can go far in the league and see if we can maybe pick up the Copa del Rey again. Before we get started, if you do enjoy the video, please like, comment, subscribe. And without further ado, let's get going. December has been another good month. We've got one game left in the league before Christmas against Real Sporting. As you can see, we're still sat second in the league. Basically, we have won every game this season pretty comfortably. Every game. Basically, we've won every game this month pretty comfortably. We beat Levante 3-0. Just straightforward game. Atletico, we hammered. We were 4-0 up after 41 minutes and had missed a penalty in the first half as well. And then nothing much of anything happened in the second half for either side. Valladolid, we beat 4-0 in the snow. Another pretty comfortable win. Early goals in the first half, early goals in the second half, and didn't really look at under threat at any point. And then we played a completely rotated team against Aguilas in the Copa del Rey, and after a not great first half, we were 1-0 up. We picked up a couple of goals after the hour, one just after the hour, one in injury time, just to make the scoreline look a bit more straightforward. But it was a pretty straightforward game. We didn't really have any, it didn't come under any threat at all. And then we've got one game left in the month against Sporting. As far as the league is concerned, we are still sat in second place. We're 5 points behind Real Madrid, who have that massive advantage on goal difference as well. And we're a point ahead of Real Sociedad and 3 points ahead of Barcelona. Interesting thing is, the leading goal scorer in the league is Nicholas Jackson of Atletico. When we played them in the league, he had 12, but didn't play. So they left him on the bench and didn't bring him on. So not quite sure what's going on there. Obviously, we've played, 17 games in the league and kept 12 clean sheets. So things are looking a lot more solid than they have been in the previous couple of seasons. And hopefully we can continue on in that form. We've reverted back to the normal full-strength team for the game against Sporting de Gijón after resting everyone in midweek for the Copa del Rey game. Hopefully we can end the calendar year on a bit of a high with a home performance. Oh! Come on. I mean, what's that? 82% possession after the first sort of 10 minutes or so. That was rather an ambitious ball. Oh! What a screamer. After a bit of just knocking it about. One touch to set and then smash. Until we get a second. That's better. Oh. Surely that's not offside. Until we got the second, there was always the threat that they were just going to somehow have one attack, one highlight, and get an equaliser. But it's the left back up 7 yards from goal with his right foot. We look so much more. I was just going to say we look so much more solid, but we actually look so much more like a threat as well this season. The key test is going to be next season when we get European football back, whether it's and also the fact that Griezmann's 36 and doesn't have much longer left. A penalty. Griezmann to step up to take the penalty. Lovely stuff. Give the keeper no chance, right into the corner. Got to say, can't complain about that first half. I mean, it could have been 6 or 7. Especially some of the chances we had in the opening 10 minutes as well. But, it's enough to... I just need to put in a full performance for the 90 minutes. Maybe make a couple of changes. Get some other guys some game time. Make sure everyone's in form before we finish for the year. 5-0. Near post corner. No one got up with him. And no one on the posts. Oh, and he's got another. 2 headers for Normand. Uranga, Nico Serrano. 7-0. It's a lovely little ball by Uranga. And it does look like he massively sliced that. Keeper was looking for it to go to his left and it sliced to his right. Can we nick another? Yes. 8-0. And Naki Williams popping up at the back post. Brilliant performance. Ending the season on a high. Well, ending the year on a high. Send the fans home happy before Christmas and New Year. 8-0 victory. Long may it continue. We're approaching the end of January. We've got 1 game left in January, and it's fair to say January may well have been our least positive month so far this season. In that we've played 6 games in total and only won 3 of them. 2 of them were cup games as well. So we started the month off with a disappointing loss to Villarreal, 2-0. We just weren't at the races at all. Then we put out another, like we did in the first round of the Copa del Rey, we put out a fully rotated second string team and comfortably ended up winning 9-0. David Uranga picking up a hat-trick, Nico Serrano coming in and picking up a couple of goals as well. Then we played Zaragoza at home. Now, probably the most important thing out of this game was the injury that Nico Williams suffered, because obviously that's kept him out since that point. But we were able to, still had enough about us to be able to win the game. Huel and John Guerrero picked up a couple. Antoine Griezmann with a penalty. They had briefly brought us back to 1-1 prior to the Griezmann penalty. Then we played Andorra in the cup, and again we picked a fully rotated team, but it almost kind of backfired on us when we went 1-0 down, and it was we ended up 3-2 at half time and then had 2 players sent off in the second half. So somehow with 9 men we were able to hang on, which then sent us into the game against Real Madrid. Now obviously Nico Williams was a big miss here, and to be honest, when they went 2-0 up after less than half an hour, I kind of thought it was going to be one of those hammerings that we've had in pretty much every season so far from Real Madrid. For some reason they always seem to get a penalty from a corner, which they did again in this game. but we were able to pull it back to 2-2 before half time. Unfortunately, we weren't able to go on in the second half. And basically, once Gabriel Barbosa got his second to put them 3-2 up, we never really got back into the game. Neither side really created an awful lot in the last sort of half hour of the game anyway. And then the most recent game, Espanyol, Copa del Rey. Obviously, because of the game against Andorra, we had a couple of players suspended. So we went in with pretty much the strongest team we could actually pick. And it worked in the first half. We were 2-0 up at half time. We then decided that we would Griezmann hadn't played well. Muniain's getting on a bit as well. Take them off. And just we capitulated in the last 10 minutes. I mean, they scored a penalty in the 79th minute. They equalised in the 83rd minute. And then Kappa gave the ball away and they went ahead and scored to make it 3-2. Kappa incidentally threw a massive hissy fit after the game and tried to force his way out. Given that he's 35 and not first choice, there's no reason to keep him around. So we've already accepted an offer from Shakhtar for him, which means that what was probably going to be a quiet deadline day, we might end up having to try and sign a right back just so that we've got more than one, but it just depends who's available for us. What those, particularly the league games, have meant is we are currently sat third in the table, 1 point behind Sociedad. I mean, Real Madrid have almost kind of wrapped up the title already. I mean, 10 points clear, effectively 11 when you look at that goal difference. But we are still ahead of Barcelona. We're still ahead of Atletico Madrid, who both finished in the top three last season. Hopefully we can get ahead of Sociedad before the end of the season, and hopefully we can finish second. It's going to be tough. Hopefully, Nico Williams is still out for a good 2 weeks, so it's going to be tough. And we're going to need to figure out some stuff for next season because Griezmann's decided he's going to retire at the end of the season. So it might be that Nico Williams plays wide right like we started him this season. And Aranga has played well in the games he's played so far, so we may give him a chance. And it may be that we need to find another centre forward or another right winger in the summer. But going forward, we've only got the league to focus on. So we've got a game. We're immediately straight back against Espanyol, so hopefully we can put in a performance there and get a bit of revenge. And then we've just got the league to focus on for the rest of the season, so hopefully we can then use that to get us up ahead of Sociedad. So going into the hopeful revenge game against Espanyol, we had a bit of a blow in that Julian Guerrero picked up a tight calf in training, so he's going to be on the bench. Iker Muniain's going to move into the number 10 role where he's played most of the saves so far, and Nico Serrano's come in at left back. Other than that, the only other change in the team that played in the cup game is that Danny Vivian's back after he was suspended for that game, and Hugo Guillemot's moved into midfield with Zubimendi moving to the bench. Definitely owe them after that last game for revenge. Not quite sure what that block was. It looked like he was doing star jumps. Right, the corner. Let's go into the back post, I think. And there's Danny Vivian popping up with a header. And no one on that back post. It's got to be offside. Yeah. In fact, that was so far offside we didn't even get a replay with the lines. Overall, pretty happy with our first half, although we did take our foot off the gas after we scored. Oh! Oh. What are we doing? Get a decent cross in. Finally. That's about the fourth or fifth time we've got into that position down that right-hand side, and we finally found a cross that wasn't just straight at the first defender. It's a lovely little 1-2. I mean, we're not going to lose it from here. We're not going to concede from here, surely. I mean, basically, this should be the last kick of the game. It is. In the end, a good result, but not the best performance. I think we've got away with one there a bit. But do you know what? We're still second in the table. We'll take that going forward for the last sort of 4 months of the season. And that's the end of this episode. We did need that victory just to kind of stem the tide. That would have been sort of 3 games without a win in a row there if we hadn't picked up that victory. Now all we've got left to focus on is the league for the rest of the season. So hopefully we can push on, and hopefully we can maintain that second place. And if Real Madrid stumble, we might even be able to put a bit of pressure on them. But I think the title's gone. But aim for second, and hopefully it's our best season so far.